I've seen some folks of the opinion that they shouldn't really be comparing their salaries to us. And of course, comparison is the thief of joy. We are physician associates. And in trying to convey our value to NHS, more often than not, we compare ourselves to doctors, FY2s, FY1s, and even GPs at times. And why do you think we do that? Traditional medicine has existed for a long time in this country, and its track record of safety is well known. If I'm able to convey, be it to the government or to the average Joe public, that these new guys we are bringing on the block are on the same level as the doctor you see in the hospital or even the GP in some papers that I've read, it follows they are safe enough. However, when the tables are turned, for them to convey their point that, bro, we are being shafted here, compared to the people you people tell us they are equal to us, without them prescribing or doing ionizing radiation, comparison is the thief of joy. A month ago, I think this was on FY1, her payslip. The net income for that month was 1,600. This person went through medical school without taking any loans. So imagine, if on top of that net income of 1,600, this person had the various student loan company deductions, assuming they lived in London as well, it's a piss take. It is really, really pitiful. I think the only problem comes when a select group of these doctors, they don't just compare. You can taste the bitterness in their words and you ask yourself, why are they bitter? They are bitter because they were sold a lie. They were told they would go through medical school, come out as doctors, and have a comfortable life. But the realities do not match up with the expectations. And to add insult to injury, there comes these new guys who didn't go through that same training they went through. They both qualify, get out of university, and for some reason they cannot explain these bros are earning more than them. They have the right to be bitter. They will be bitter. But one thing I would like them to understand is the fact that that is the case is not something engineered by any physician associate. When I did biomedicine, I know the efforts I put in with the bros, pulling the all-nighters in the dungeon. We will be studying all night around 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, very unhealthy. We would order some falafels, mix kebab boxes, and we would just destroy them. So there is a bond, there is a camaraderie. We've been through this struggle together. I think that is what is missing. They don't see that work, the realities of medical school as they've experienced it. We were not there with them, so they don't understand how, bro, they didn't put in the same work we did. How come they are paid more than us? Some people think they are equal to us. It messes with their mind. To a certain degree, it's understandable. Man, these PAs shouldn't exist, this, that, and the third. But even with that, these PAs shouldn't exist. In a utopia, that could be the case. As I always say this, we don't do anything different from them. Quote me anywhere. There is nothing physician associates bring to the NHS that the newly qualified doctor doesn't. Regardless of how you feel, it does not sound nice. But if you are to step aside, get out of your own feelings and look at this tension that exists from the sidelines, there is nothing special we bring. If we really want to see the value of physician associates and junior doctors, I think the best way would be in a free market where patients paid to see clinicians. If I see the physician associate and I feel well treated, and let's say because they're a physician associate, I had to pay £30 to see them, but I have to see the junior doctor as well, and I also go there and I feel well treated, but I had to pay £50. Of course, I'll always go with the physician associate because they are cheaper than the junior doctor. However, if I were to see the physician associate and I have to go back and see them again because my problem has not resolved, back and forth 4 times. I go to the doctor and I go maybe back and forth twice. Then it is up to me, the one paying, is that £30 worth the back and forth 4 times, or would I pay £50 to see this bro 2 times and be done with? The market will decide the true value. It's always a trade-off, like we saw in the panorama video with that practice that decided to use physician associates, stretch them, and use them as if they were doctors. We cannot deny that reality. Some people will misuse their role because manager said it was cheaper, and that should not be the case. That is why regulation is very, very important. Should there be regulation, and you know that physician associates can only do X, Y, and Z, if you step out of it, and this is the consequence that can happen to the practice, you would think more carefully about utilizing the physician associate above the agreed scope of competence. But then the question becomes, why is there a shortage of doctors? Initially, I used to think maybe perhaps there are not enough doctors being pushed out of the various universities, but I don't think that is the case. This year or last year was one of the most competitive times to get into medical school. The problem seems to be the training posts. They graduate their various medical schools, and then they can't find a foundation program to carry on and find a training route to become consultants. And the old ones keep retiring because there seems to be a problem with their pension. I don't think I've fully understood it. Their pension will go over a certain threshold and will be taxed very unfavorably. It's not in their best interest, so they quit. If that is a problem, why don't they create a new working post? Most people won't agree with me on this, but I think this is interesting because we have a union. Unions exist to protect the interests of their existing clientele, their existing union members, not for upcoming new ones. Markets work on supply and demand. If you were able to flood the market with doctors left, right, and center, what would follow is their salary would come down because there's a lot of competition. And if there's more demand than supply, prices go up. But the problem is the NHS is not really a free market. I might be wrong, but I think I have something right about that. I saw a tweet from a lady interested in the physician associate program who said, reading the online back and forth between some doctors and physician associates, she doesn't know if it's worth becoming a physician associate. These things seem only to exist on social media. I've not met a single doctor in real life that had any energy like that towards me. Yeah, sometimes you might do a referral on the phone, you might hear some sassy talk, but in terms of your colleagues, I have never. People are cordial, people are nice. They might have their opinions in their head. You can't force someone to think the same way you think. The folks that I've met in real life have always been very respectful, very cordial, and amazing to work with. So don't worry about it. If you're interested in the physician associate program, first thing is you look yourself in the mirror and understand what you are getting into. There are good perks, there are drawbacks, but as I said, there are no solutions on this planet, there are only trade-offs. As physician associates, it is difficult to see the pieces moving because it is in our best interest for this profession to exist. I think that is what some of us fail to understand. The reason why these guys are pissed is not because of when you qualified 2 years ago or 5 years ago. This game has been played since time immemorial. There has been a gradual erosion of what the doctor used to be. Some people look at it through that lens, that old lens. They look at it like a telephoto lens. Telephoto lenses are quite narrow, so maybe it's a wide lens. Let's say a 10mm. And if you are to look at how things have played out in the United States, you can somehow understand their concern. That was a bit long-winded. Your boy OT and I'm a salute.